All right, Ellis Cinema back, another dish. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, wonderful. As you see on your screen, your dial, something a little different today, a little different, but you know how I do on this show. Like it's all art forms. It doesn't film, TV, music, stand-up comedians. Shit, we've done graphic novel artists on here. Like we try to do it all. So with one caveat, though, and I was just explaining this to the man before we rolled. For good or ill, I only pick the people that I want to have on the show. I mean, one, because, well, I mean, it's my fucking show. But two, like, I want to get names out there that I feel like they should be household names. You know what I'm saying? And I think we're going to achieve that today. So, obviously, as most of the audience knows, I can't stand doing this fucking show. I hate it. I literally hate it unless I have someone that I can bring on, and well, as luck would have it, I think you guys are in for a fucking treat. So normally this is the part of the show where I would read back the person's credentials and, just be like, oh, well, he's got this album, this album, this album. He was on this feature, this feature, this feature. But ever since comedian Mark Norman made fun of me for reading back his fucking credentials to him, I'm not going to do that today. We're just gonna stop playing around, and we're going to get him on here because if I'm being honest, in my world, he's huge. And two, I just want to maximize the amount of time that I have with the man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to refer to him as a rapper, a goddamn poet. You hear me? A poet. Jon Connor joining the Ellis Cinema podcast for the first time. My man.
My man.
Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
First off, I'm truly humbled by that intro. Thank you for deeming me somebody that you want to, invest time into and giving your platform to, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm grateful. Thank you for having me, man.
Dude, I'm not kidding you when I say lyrically, like there, I don't, I struggle to think with all the names that are better, man. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the fucking show. I was just telling one of my boys this earlier today because I was like, yo, Jon Connor's coming. And I was thinking, like, if I really rack my brain, like, I think I tagged you on my Spotify wrap up. I mean, you saw top of the list. You know what I'm saying? Like, I only had three people really on rotation this year. You were number one, maybe Joyner, maybe Locksmith on there. But like, I found myself going back to SOS 2 over and over and over. The Road to Legendary. If you guys haven't checked out John's album that he released, what was it, April, I think, a little bit ago.
From
Oh
April, yeah.
my gosh. Easily probably my favorite album of the year. And I know you're probably going to disagree with that because I think Nas released an album with you this year too. And I'm still feeling Road to Legendary, dude.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. And for the people watching right now, please go check out my joint, SOS2, my project I dropped in April. I'm an independent artist, so the support from the people means so much, man. Every fan or supporter that I have means the world to me. So whatever streaming platform you got right now, please go check it out. Jon Connor, SOS2, The Road to Legendary. But thank you so much, man, for those compliments, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. We're going international with you today, man. We're going international with you. But because we're going international and because it's the first time on the show, we got to do softball questions, man. I want my people from Indonesia. I want my boys Sonny Pang in Singapore. I want them to know kind of the come up for John. And we're not, I'm not talking from the birth of John to present, but I do kind of want to know, and I want them to know the genesis of Jon Connor. When was it that you decided, like, look, I keep saying poet because that's what you guys are to me. If I'm being real with you, like, an artist is an artist, right? And art is kind of the eye or the ears of the beholder, right? And I viewed you guys for so long more as poets than I do rappers, and I'm not saying like rappers as like a derogatory term or anything like that, but like there's sheer poetry in your work, man. And I guess I just want to know where that started, like where the fire began, and then that moment where you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm doing this.
Well, for the people that's watching who not familiar with me, it started for me in Flint, Michigan. And like you said, we going global with it. So Flint is a city in Michigan that's about 45 minutes to an hour away from Detroit. Not a very big city. A city that's kind of been the underdog. We have had a lot of hardships happen with General Motors was here, and then they picked up and moved out. Like a lot of jobs went away. Just an impoverished area. You know what I'm saying? I love my city. I love where I come from because we never let anything like get us down or beat us, you know, but we've dealt with a lot of terrible things. And then most recently in the last couple of years, we had the Flint water crisis that happened where actually our water was contaminated with lead. So, you know, for a time period, and even now, I don't, you know, trust the water to its fullest extent now, but it's like we went through that where, you know, we couldn't drink the water, couldn't take showers in the water, or you would get lead poisoning. So just giving your listeners and viewers the foundation of where I come from, because there's a spirit inside of all Flint people where it's like we got to beat the odds. It's like that Rocky spirit, you know, the underdog, beat the odds, never say die type thing. And I think for one, that was just ingrained in me from the time I stepped foot, you know, on this planet, was just, you know, to be an underdog and then go for yours and do what you got to do to succeed. And as far as just my style and where that came from, my father's a musician. So I grew up like listening to my father rehearse. He would play in like different bands over the years. I can remember as a kid being in my basement and watching him rehearse and practice and listening to these soul records, whether it was Luther Vandross, whether it was Earth, Wind and Fire, Average White Band, Zap, whether it was just so many. I was just, you know, just music was such a prevalent part of my life at such a young age. My dad even told me while my mother was pregnant with me that she would be at his rehearsals as well. So they often joke that even when I was inside of my mother's stomach, I was listening to music. Like it was just in me. It was, I didn't have a choice, man. Music was what it was going to be. And my mother, she's an incredible writer. So the musician side of me comes from my father. The writer side of me, the you know, that part of me that's articulate and writes poetry comes from my mother. And then when you mix those two things together with the never say die underdog Flint mentality, I think that's what makes up Jon Connor.
Man, we had the same come up, dude. Like my dad also in a band, and like, dude, I would walk downstairs, they're in the basement playing or whatever. I'm sitting there, dad, we got to do this. He would just stare at me. He's on the guitar, right? Just stare at me. Not say, wouldn't say shit. Just like, hey, like almost like, hey, when the song's done, then maybe I'll speak to you. Probably not, but when the song's done, then we'll talk. But like, same thing, dude. My mom, special ed teacher, writer, like it's no mistake kind of how I ended up doing what I'm doing right now. Like but the thing about it though, dude, and I'll say it on the show, my dad's music sucks, dude. Like I love it. I love him dearly, but like how many sad love songs can you write, sir? How like
you gotta add some slack, man.
I just you know how it is though. You grow up with it and you're just like, Jesus Christ, Dad. Like I mean, how many girls did you break up with in your life? Because you got about 200 songs here, right? Right. So now I do want to ask you about your dad, because I did read something, and you, as you know, you trust everything that you know read on the internet, and I just wanted to ask you, Dad's a pastor, yeah?
Yes, he definitely is a minister. Yes, indeed. Yes, he does. He's a very, very spiritual cat. Like me and him share that, and we bond over that. Like, you know, that me and him both are very deep into our spirituality. And that actually over the years is what drew our relationship closer and closer. I was always close with my father, but it's like the musician part of me drew us in further. Then spirituality drew us in further. So absolutely.
So I gotta know, what does Pastor Dad, Minister Dad, think about his son being a cold-blooded killer on the mic, dude? Like, because like I gotta think, like, if you're in that world, and you know, it's not like, obviously I don't find the shit that you're saying offensive. In fact, I find it more like real, and like I'll just say this to you again, dude. I think the reason why I respect you and I follow you so much is because of your ability to not mince words about what's going on. Like the Flint situation, like I saw you perform live, and I was just like, dude, we don't have too many. Like, you may hear M mention Detroit, but it's not like in a help. You know, it's not like in a, hey, why don't you avert your eyes over here, and this is some real shit that's going on. I feel like we just, it does happen from time to time. And like with most music, like you got to weed through a lot of stuff to get to the truth, I guess. And I mean, dude, you don't mince words about where you're from. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me where I'm just like, hey, until they put me in the ground, I'm a Connor fan, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do feel like it's important for me to always represent Flint because I feel like it's a place that doesn't have a voice. We're not Chicago, we're not Detroit, we're not Miami, we're not Los Angeles, we're not these places that within hip hop and within the hip hop culture has always had like a big voice just because the markets are bigger, like they're bigger cities. But I feel like what's true is that there are more Flints in the United States than there are Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago. Think about all of the little cities that you pass through to get to a LA or to get to a Chicago. There's so many small cities in Illinois. There's so many small cities in Nevada. There's so many small cities in California. So many small cities in every state that I feel like fly under the radar and their stories don't get told. And I feel like what inspired me to believe in myself, well, one of the things was I was a big fan of Master P and No Limit Records, right? So I grew up in that era. 1998, I was a kid, but I remember at that time nobody had really come from New Orleans and embodied it and represented like he did. And I never thought about New Orleans before Master P. And I thought to myself, if he could do that for New Orleans, I want to do that for Flint. You know what I'm saying? I want to let people know that you could come from somewhere that isn't the norm or isn't the typical places that are normally represented in hip hop, and you can succeed. So it was important to me that maybe beyond just Flint kids looking at me and being inspired, maybe it's somebody in Des Moines, Iowa, right? And he's listening to my music and he like, yo, I'm from Des Moines. I can be the first person to represent for Des Moines and put us on. So that was just always what was important to me, to make sure, like when I did the BET Awards, I made sure I wore a Flint shirt. I wore Flint on my shirt. In 2014, when I was a part of the Double XL freshman class, I actually the wardrobe that I had on for the cover of that magazine, I dressed like a shop worker, like a person that worked in an automotive factory in Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was always important to me to keep putting Flint in the forefront of America's consciousness, because I feel like, just because we little doesn't mean we don't matter.
I fucking told you guys he was real. I fucking told you. I bring people on that I think are gonna have it. So you start. I want to get back to the dad thing. So yeah. You start killing people on the mic. What does dad think? What does dad like? Hey man, you gotta tone it down, son.
You know what? In the beginning, I think because of the things that he went through in his musical journey, he would have probably preferred that I chose a different career path. Yeah. But after a while, he became very supportive because he saw that I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to stop until I attained, a certain level of success or became satisfied with my journey in music. So he was like, yo, I ain't got no choice but to support at this point. But man, my dad is very supportive, and we always talk. He makes fun of me now. He said, boy, I remember when you used to cuss on these records. You ain't even know how to cuss. You ain't even to be like, you don't even know what you're saying. You know what I mean? So, but I love my father, and he's super duper supportive, and I love my stepmother as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Both of them are so supportive. Whenever I do projects, they want to listen to it and hear it, and we critique it together, and I'll send them whatever I'm working on. So it's over the years, I think that it definitely brought us closer together. It took a little minute because, like I say, in the beginning, he wasn't too thrilled about it, but then over time, I think it actually like brought us closer together.
Yeah, I can see that. Just like getting that look, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right?
What are you doing, bro?
Yeah. Yes, man.
All right. So again with the softball question. So it's a two-parter. You ready for the two-parter? This is a two-parter. Sure. So what is actually it's a three-parter. What is the bar that you heard that you were like, I think I want to rap. I know I want to rap. The coldest bar you ever heard. And I know this one's going to be selfish. You may not want to hear this, but I have to know the answer. the coldest bar you think you ever wrote? I know. I told you I was gonna put you on the spot, man. I'm not sending you anything beforehand. This has got to be real. This has got to be real.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love it. Okay. The bar that made me want to rap.
Yeah, if you have one, it could be an album. It was more like the coldest bar you, in your opinion, like for artists that you respect, and then obviously the bar you wrote. It could be an album. It could be a song, like where you were just like, you know what, I gotta do this.
Okay. I don't know. This wasn't the bar that made me want to rap, but it's still the bar that to this day, when I think of just cold lines and I aspire to say something as cold as this. You still there?
Oh yeah, we're still there.
Okay. Yeah, my phone did something weird. But okay, it's Jay-Z on the La 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 remix. He said, I'm a franchise like a Houston Rocket. Yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna break it down why that line is so crazy to me. First of all, it was like a triple entendre all in one phrase. Steve Francis was called the franchise, and he played for the Houston Rockets, right? But then he ended the phrase by saying, yeah, I mean. So he was saying, you know what I mean, but he's also saying, Yao Ming, who also played for the Houston Rockets. I said, man, that might be the coldest shit I ever heard. And he just did it effortlessly. I'm a franchise like a Houston Rocket. Yeah, I mean, I said, man, that's crazy. So I think that line always to this day is like, man, that's insane. So that's one of the coldest bars ever. Like, and also Nas said on the it's on the It Was Written album. Oh man, I remember when I heard this bar, it let me know that I still had to step my game up. He said, I'm trustworthy like nines that bust early. I said, wow. I'm like, that's hard. Like, yo, I'm like, that's a hard line. So, and like the fact that it's just one bar, it wasn't like a setup bar that led into that. Like, I'm trustworthy like nines that bust early. I'm like, that's crazy. So that was insane to me. And far as the second part of your question was what?
I know that, like, listen, this is gonna be a hard one for you because I can already tell the type of person you are is gonna make you uncomfortable to answer. But the coldest bar you think you ever wrote?
Yes, because I'm not a very, like I don't like to gas my own shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Wow. I don't know, man. Like I
What?
know
I tell you what, you wanna know the I won't say it was a cold bar, but there's no entendres, there's no symbology, and I'll tell you two lines that drove me this year. You want to know what they are? I'm gonna read them as white as I possibly can, as white as I can possibly say it. All right, these are the lyrics that got me through this year. Shit got heavy, but I didn't even look at the scales. I came back with a motherfucking story to tell. While also, I made my own footprints. I hope you follow the trail I made, or I came back with a motherfucking story to tell.
Fucking story to tell.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. I really think that, like, if people are being honest with themselves, that's why I don't get into like lists anymore, because I think everything comes down to experiences, right? And this year, when I heard that line, dude, like, it was almost like a switch went off. Like, I needed to hear that shit from you in that moment, and shit ain't been the same since, dude.
Wow.
It ain't been the same. I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, I think you sometimes you get caught up with all like the internet bullshit, and like, this listens had 5,000 listens, this one had 200. What the fuck's going on? And I remember hearing that in my car and just going, you know what, dude? Just go, dude. And that's all you. That's all you. So those are the bars that drove me this year. I know you don't.
Thank you. That's wow. That like, man, I understand that art is subjective, and so when I hear people that are actually impacted by something that I did artistically, I like to say that I was allowed to do, because like I say, I'm a spiritual person, so all of it comes through God. But it's like whenever I'm able to be the vessel that delivered a message that touched somebody, man, I am humbled to the fullest. And thank you, man. I thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's the coldest bar I ever wrote, but I thought of one. It's a project that I got coming out. I recorded the record a couple days ago, and I thought the line. It was funny because I was talking to my girl about it, man, and we was talking, and she's a super huge fan of lyricism. So it's always funny when she listens to my shit and then she'll be like, "You said da 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 da," like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the dopest shit in the world. But yeah, I said we in a fucked up situation, like doctors that ain't got the patience for operations. Now the reason why we both agreed that that line was crazy, because it's a double entendre. I like double entendres. I like lines that mean one thing, but they also could mean like three other things. So just for me, you know, you are in a fucked up situation if you end up having a doctor that doesn't have the patience for your operation, right? Because that means he's rushing the situation, and now, you know, but then also it's a fucked up situation if a doctor doesn't have actual patience to do you feel me? Because a doctor needs
Yep.
so it's a play on the word patience. So it might not be the coldest, but I think it might be the coldest shit I've said this week. So that there you go. That's the coldest shit I think I said this week, man.
I'm trying to think of an entendre line that I really love, and the only one that keeps fucking bouncing around in my head is this is an old one. I don't know if you'll be able to make the pull on this one. My friends don't drink Pepsi; they just sell Coke. You know? Yeah, yeah. Jeezy, dude. I'll like, dude. There's just certain artists, like it don't matter. It don't matter if you go from young to Lil to whatever. Like there's some rappers I'll just gonna follow you forever, and he's like that. That's one of them. Is because I was sitting there going, did he just? Yep, he sure did. He sure did.
I love it. That's the beauty, bro. That's to me, that's the true beauty of hip hop music. Of when you could play with words and make people rewind it and say, "Did he just say what I think he just said?" And that's what I love about hip hop, man. And I'll probably forever be that type of artist. I don't know if I could ever just phone it in, because that's the type of
No,
music
you don't. You don't have it in you, dude. You don't. I don't think you have it in you to be fake. I really don't.
Thank you. Thank you. I give all credit to my parents and my whole family. My bruh, I wish you could see my whole family together. They just the realest people you'll ever want to meet. They would never allow me to ever have a big head or an ego or anything like that. Just very grounded. And like I say, Flint, Michigan is just a very grounded place in general. So thank you for that compliment, man.
Hey, no problem. So before we get into a little bit of what we were promoting today and what I saw you cooking up in the IG kitchen yesterday, I only asked this because I see your background there. It looks like you're a movie friend or a movie fan, my dude.
Yeah, and the people watching this don't know that right before we got on, I was complimenting your movie collection as well, man. Yes, I'm a movie nerd. That's how I, got the name Jon Connor. I don't mind telling people my legal name is Jan Freeman. So the whole Jon Connor thing came from I was 18 years old, and one night I was watching the Terminator movies back to back. And I'm like, wow, this was just so well done and well written, and the just the weight that character Jon Connor had in the storyline of that movie, like, wow, how important one person is for everybody's future. And that's why I chose that name, because it's like I don't just want to rap, just talking about money and females. It's like I want to impact people, I want to help people, I want my message in real life to be as important to humanity as that character Jon Connor was in those Terminator movies. And man, so yes, even my walking moniker is a testament to how much of a movie nerd I am, bro. So
I just wanted to say I'm sorry to hear about your foster parents. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your foster parents died. We listen like it's all right. So if you had to give me two,
it was brutal. It was brutal, man. It was brutal. It was brutal, man. But my real mom, Sarah Connor, she a soldier. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't know how I feel about what was the last Terminator called. It was Dark Fate. Is that what it was?
yeah, yep.
You know what? I got to go back and watch it again. I was glad that they brought Linda Hamilton back because I'm a huge fan, and I think that she is that franchise to me. Her and Arnold, like, you know what I'm saying. So to see them on screen together again was dope. I got to go back and watch it again. I can't remember how I felt about it.
Yeah, I still think Terminator 2 for me one of the best American action films still to this day ever made. Like it's I can still watch that anytime anywhere and just go, "Man, this movie's so dope." So here's my question, I guess. And then we got to promote cuz we're flapping gums. I kind of knew that this shit was going to happen. So your favorite movie of all time and the movie that you can just put on anytime anywhere and we always watch it like a comfort food type movie.
Okay. Well, for one, I I seldom say that I have favorites of anything because I like it changes based on the mood that I'm in. So I'll just ramble off. The first question was what's my favorite movie? So I'll just ramble off a bunch of movies that I just could watch over and over and over again. Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. I put them in, to me that's all one movie. Endgame and Infinity War. The Dark Knight, Clueless, Casino. There's this movie, not very well known, but I love this movie. Well, I'll save that one for the answer to the next one. But let me see what other favorites that I have.
It's funny. The older I get, I think Casino more becomes my favorite Scorsese film. I know everybody's deported in Goodfellas, but like the older I get, like, dude, Casino's fire. Like Casino
the one. Normally people get in their debates about Goodfellas or Casino. I'm a Casino guy. I've always been a Casino guy. Like I think Goodfellas is cool, but Casino is the one. Yeah. Like Casino is the one. So let me see. Tombstone with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. To me is classic and legendary. New Jack City, Bad Boys 1, Poetic Justice, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown.
It's an unpopular opinion. I think Jackie Brown is my favorite Tarantino film. Everybody hates when I say that, but it's my favorite.
Bro, we gonna have to kick it. We gonna have to talk movie. Like even away from this, we might have to talk movies, bro, because we share the same opinion about similar things. Jackie Brown is that and Pulp Fiction go neck and neck. They tied for like my favorite Tarantino movies. Like absolutely, I thought Django was dope. I thought Reservoir Dogs was dope. I mean, I think everything. I think I've liked everything Quentin Tarantino has ever done. But so that's just a couple of my favorite movies. But my comfort movies. All right, now this is good because the people watching this is gonna be shit y'all never heard of before. So there's a movie called Jake Speed that I watch, and I've been watching that movie since I was a baby. Jake Speed was like this action movie. I ain't even gonna go into explaining it. Just Google Jake Speed, and that's okay. That's one of my favorite like this comfort movies. There's another movie called Hanging with the Homeboys. That's a comfort movie of mine. It got John Leguizamo in it. And I can't remember the name of the other actors that were in it. Also, it was a movie called I Like It Like That, and it was based in just about Puerto Rican culture. And it was just a very just real heartfelt. You could feel the heart of that movie. So those three movies are the movies I watch as my comfort movies. So just low key, films that people might not have even heard of, but just those are the films that just struck a chord with me as a kid that I still watch to this day.
I love to hear it, and I love to hear it, especially the Jackie Brown thing. Like, I take so much shit for telling people that's my favorite, and like, I'm not, like, I'm with you. So, like, I love all of Tarantino's films. Like, his worst film is better than 98% of shit. You know what I'm saying? But there's something about Jackie Brown. I tell people the same shit. Every time the credits roll in that movie, I just feel cool, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I just feel cool. Like, and Pam Grier, let's not and say we did, but Pam Grier. But at the end of the day, I walk out of there. I'm like, man, I'm cool right now.
Bro, I'm telling you, Jackie Brown is one of those movies, like you said, when the credits roll, I wish it wasn't going off. Yeah. I wish it wasn't over. Like Robert De Niro is hilarious in that movie. Jane Fonda, is that who that is? Or
Bridget Fonda. You're right.
Bridget Fonda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hilarious. I think Sam Jackson is hilarious. Um, what's my
So,
man that played Max Cherry?
Robert Forster. So good, dude.
Yes, yes,
So good.
killed it. I think that it was incredible casting. I think it was well written. I think the execution was crazy, and the introduction of a young Chris Tucker as Beaumont. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, man, that movie's a hidden gem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that movie. I think that Pulp Fiction was so good that I think that Jackie Brown gets underrated and looked over just because like Pulp Fiction was so good. It's kind of like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Like, you couldn't top The Dark Knight. Like, you know what I'm saying? But The Dark Knight Rises is still a good movie. So it's like Pulp Fiction was so classic and just so game changing that I think that the critics was harsh on Tarantino about Jackie Brown. You know what I'm saying? But Jackie Brown is fucking legendary.
Yeah, I think my favorite part with Chris Tucker and Jackie Brown is actually when he's already in the trunk and he's like, "Do a motherfucker a favor," and Sam Jackson just pops two in him, and then that's so great. All right, so I think me and you could do this for a while, and I'm not trying to keep you any longer than I told you I will, because I
I
fucking
will
hate
trade
that.
movie quotes with you all day, bro. Like, don't play with me. I'll do it, man. I will do it. It's all good, man.
Hey, we're gonna have to do that. We'll set something else up because I like I said, dude, I'm very, I don't know, like call it a sixth sense, but I'm like very calculated about who I reach out to. Like I ain't just firing off DMs like blah blah blah. Like there's
Yeah.
like, dude, straight up, there's people like I told some. Well, we'll talk about it later. But so anyway, I get on IG Live yesterday, and I hear some beats that I hadn't heard you on before.
Yes.
And it turns out it's because you got things in the mix right now. You got things in the works that like are literally close to being released.
Yes. So the projects that I got coming out, just like I say, just for people that are just getting turned on to me right now. In 2022, I released SOS2, The Road to Legendary. Then I also released a project that I did over Nas inspired beats. It was a mixtape called The Best in the World, the end tape, where I rapped over all of Nas beats. Man, so y'all go check that out if and when you get a chance. But in 2023, me and my homeboy iRock, he's a producer out of Detroit, super talented. We're doing a whole project together. We're trying to put it out by the end of January. Then April 13th, me and my man DJ Silk, who works with Dr. Dre, who produced the song Diary on the Dr. Dre album Compton that I was on. And me and him did a whole project together. Super crazy. It's for all of those people that knows my history and knows that I worked with Aftermath and Dr. Dre. For those people that wanted to hear me over that kind of West Coast sound, like DJ Silk delivers it, and that's coming out on April 13th. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I grew up a fan of No Limit Records. Shouts to the legendary KLC from Beats by the Pound, who made all of their big records. Make them say just the name, like just so people know. Make them say I'm about it. Me and him did a whole project together, so that's probably coming in June of 2023. Me and KLC's project 24. June, July, August, and then August, it's a young producer out of Flint named Energy Beats. Super talented kid. We got a project called 810 Day that I'm probably going to release on August 10th, and it's me rapping over all of his beats. August, September, and October, I got a mixtape called The Vault that it's like just a bunch of freestyles that I did while I was signed to Interscope. So yeah, so my whole 2023, every 2 months I'm trying to drop a project, and along with that, I'm writing a book right now called Tales of a Tumbleweed, where I talk about just a lot of things that I've been through within show business, a lot of people I've met, just kind of giving flowers to people who have motivated me and inspired me, and kind of taking my journey and using it to inspire and motivate other people who might be kind of down in the dumps or giving up hope, just relating to them and letting them know that we all go through those times, but there are people that come into our lives that motivate us to keep going. So I'm writing this book, putting my experiences into a book form so it can inspire other people. And yeah, then we got the docu-series that's gonna keep the docu-series coming out as well.
What how where do you find the time, dude? Where, like, how, I mean, I lost count of how many like what, 6 different projects.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, dude. I mean, well, actually, forget about where you find the time. Where do you find the fucking dictionary? Like, how do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? As somebody like, I mean, and I'm not, I definitely am not as good with words as you guys for sure. But like, there's even times, dude, like, even when I know the shit that I'm going to talk about or whatever, like, I just get like midway through and be like, oh man, I've heard enough. I've heard enough of myself. Like, you're not telling anybody anything. I don't know. Like, that just, for someone like me, that just blows me away that like you can have that many projects and to do what you do and still find a way to give a message. Like, bro, like that, like, you understand what you're doing ain't easy, right?
I'm grateful and I'm good. And I give all praises to God, man. Like I truly feel like it's a gift that I've been given, and I'm being allowed to have these experiences, and I'm grateful because the way that I create when the music comes on, it's like the words just come. You know what I mean? It's almost like it. Like I've joked before with people. Like sometimes it feels like it's not even me. Sometimes I'll listen back to some of the stuff I say, and I'm like, "Damn, that was smart as shit." like that, like yeah, like that was true as fuck. So it's like, but be in all seriousness though, but sometimes like I'm just grateful. I can't explain it. When I hear music, it's like words immediately start coming to me. So you saying that, do I know that what I'm doing isn't easy? I look at it like all of us on this planet have gifts, and no one's gifts is any greater than the next person. So what keeps me humble is what I do to me isn't more special than somebody whose gift is being a doctor. What I do isn't more special than somebody who's a teacher. I just think that my gift is my gift, and I use it for the greater good, and I'm just humbled to be able to get in contact with people like you through the gift of music, man.
My dude, as advertised, as advertised. So I have one last question for you,
Sure.
but good news, it's rhetorical, and I will warn you in advance, it might offend you. I hope it doesn't, but
All right.
it might offend you. Why the fuck are we not talking about you as one of the sharpest lyricists for a decade? Why, like I hear all the same names over and over again, and the one that keeps on, and I know that, I hope that doesn't sting. Hopefully, like, you realize
Don't
who I am now as like a person. I Dude, again, there's a super fan who, like, again, he's one of my boys, Stefan. Shout out Stefan. He wanted to be here today, but he could not. I wasn't gonna let him like be on camera or anything, but I was gonna let him be a fly on the wall because he, like, I thought I was a fan. I'm not even gonna disrespect the man. He's a super fan. But we were both
love.
talking. Yeah, we were both talking. We're like, why why isn't this a thing? Like, why it should be, because I mean, I think everybody says the same thing, like MJ. I mean this, John. Your name needs to be in that group. I mean it. Like,
Thank
it to me, it's baffling that, like, I don't know, man. This is where I drop the ball. This is where like the smoke blowing goes awry, because I really feel that, dude. I've been since like you and I connected on IG, like, I just like, yo, one of the coldest, like, you don't even know, and people are just like, I mean, yeah. And I'm like, no, dude, like, do you even hear the motherfucker? Like, do you like, so I just wanted to tell you that, man. I know it's rhetorical because I know you don't want to answer. You'd be like, hey, why the fuck aren't they talking about me? Like, I know
But
you
no,
don't want.
I appreciate you saying that. My response to that, because I do have a response to it, is being 100% independent. I don't have that big machine behind me. So I think that, you know, certain artists, it's like repetition over and over. The same names get told to you, so people as a whole feel like those are the names that they're supposed to say. And if the machine isn't pumping certain names, then people have a hard time going out of their way to have their own opinion. So to me, it's like, I thank you and I thank your friend, because it's like, I need y'all as the people to be that voice. You know what I'm saying? To be like, yo, nah, listen to Jon Connor or listen to what he's saying. Because it's like, when you, like, everything I do is out of my pocket 100%. So from videos to artwork to mixing and mastering, I'm paying and footing the bill for everything. And so it's like I don't have the luxury of having that machine that every time you get on YouTube, they're telling you to like a certain person, or every time you get on your Instagram, it's an advertisement telling you to like a person, or if you go to certain cities and there's these big billboards, it's like I'm truly just an artist that's leaning on my faith and, you know what I'm saying, my love for the art form, and just believing that whatever's meant for me will be. And as long as whether I touch one person or a million people, that's what I'm here for. But I'm just saying to people like you and anybody who is a fan of my music, I need y'all to spread the word. Like, you know what I'm saying? I need that word of mouth. And I just, just for me to grow my fan base, man, it is truly, that's why I call myself the people's rapper, is because it's just me and the people. And I don't, like I say, not having that big machine, it's truly just based on my work ethic and my faith, man. So I thank you for saying that, bro.
Speaking of people's rapper, if you guys are, I don't know, you feel like listening to John rap over some M beats,
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that's on. I think I saw that on Dat Piff yesterday, and I was like, I mean, it's been a minute since I spun it. I tried to stick with the new stuff before we got on the mic, but like, dude, you got so much cold old stuff that I love so much. But no, I think somebody had mentioned it on IG, and I was like, oh fuck, that's right. He did do over some M beats, and I was listening to him like, nope, nope, nope. We got to go back to the SOS. We gotta go back to the SOS. John, I don't want to keep you any longer, dude. I'm gonna say fuck all. Like, we're both Michigan boys, but I don't believe in like that whole state allegiance or anything like that, dude. I'm attracted to you because you're one of the best lyricists that I think that's out there right now. Like, it was no mistake of that's how I found you. You know what I'm saying? I prefer that over like. And listen, we're not gonna degrade anybody here, but let's be honest. Like, some of the new rap these days, like, there's a chorus and then there's like 3 words, and then there's a chorus, and then there's like 4 more words, and I just like that ain't my shit. You don't need to say anything. I don't want you hating on anybody. I'll do it for you. That shit mumble rap. I can't this whatever. So, but John, you have a place here anytime you want to come on the show, dude, to promote, to just hang, chill, man. You are welcome anytime. Like, I knew it. Like, I knew when I reached out, like, I knew that this is how it was going to go. I knew we were going to run late, and it was going to be my fucking fault because I was just, man, good luck to you, dude. I hope we speak soon. I hope we come back on the show, and even like in between records, dude. Let's chat about a movie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, if you have my word, let's do it. It's a pleasure. Like, you're a good human. You have a good spirit, man. And that's all I'm about, man, is connecting with good spirits. And thank you so much for allowing me this time on your platform. And let's do it. This is the first time, not the last time. Let's keep going, man. After the next project drop, let's do it again. Let's talk about it.
Hey, let's do it. You want to bring on your producer, you want to bring on any young artists, dude, they're welcome here. If you're vouching for them, I don't need to say, you don't need to say no more. They like just, hey, Sean, I want this dude to come on your show. The done. We'll make time for it. All right, my man.
That's love. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
All right, man. John, we're gonna get you out of here. I appreciate you. We will talk soon, my dude. We will talk soon.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna get John out of here, dude. How awesome was that? I just knew that it was going to be a good show. Something I do want you to look into though, because of the Flint water crisis that he did mention, if you go check out the Food Bank of Michigan, if you got a few dollars to spare, I know I would appreciate that. I know he would, and most importantly, the people of Flint would appreciate that. Or the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club, you can donate to, and I being from Michigan, like, for me, the shit's gone on way too long. The shit's gone on way too long in Flint. Like, I can't. I mean, it's like everything else that in America right now. The shit just don't make sense. But please donate. I say one more time: Food Bank of Michigan or Boys and Girls Club. Go check out Jon Connor's album right now, SOS2: The Road to Legendary. You heard five. How many projects in 23? Jesus. And but in the immediate future, end of January, he's got projects coming out. Woo! Jon Connor, Ellis Cinema. Hope you enjoyed that one. I fucking know I did. Ellis Cinema, Jon Connor, we gone.